Hi, I'm Monick Halm of Equilawbrium Career and Life Coaching, where we help lawyers uncover, pursue, and live their passions. I'm here with another episode of Lawyer Turned. Today it's Lawyer Turned Novelist with Julie Buxbaum. Julie Buxbaum is a dear friend, and she's also the author of two fantastic novels, The Opposite of Love and After You. She's now working on her third novel. She's in London and I'm in Los Angeles, so I'm interviewing her via Skype. The interview is a little buggy, but here it goes. So thank you for joining me.
My pleasure, and please excuse the way I look. I am not rested nor make-upped.
That's okay.
So I apologize for that.
That's the nice thing about being able to work from home, right?
Yeah, exactly. There are polka dot pajamas under here, but you're not going to.
So can you tell our audience what's your story? What was your transition from being a law firm associate to now being a novelist?
It was are you still there? Because I think oh, there you are. It was 2005, I believe. So 5 years ago. It was New Year's Eve. And as part of a New Year's resolution, I decided to quit my job and pursue my lifelong dream of wanting to write a novel. I think when I quit, I had no idea that I'd actually become a novelist. The idea was sort of quit, write the novel I've always been talking about, get it out of my system, and during that period, figure out what I want to do with my life. And at the time, I was working at a small law firm, and I had a really great job, actually. The people were wonderful. The hours were wonderful. The pay was wonderful. So I couldn't even complain about sort of that work-life balance that a lot of us had trouble with, and that I had trouble with at my previous firm. I was just kind of bored, and I felt really unfulfilled. And so I decided I was too young to settle for a life that, was unfulfilling. There was really no reason to settle either. I didn't have children. I didn't have a mortgage. And so it seemed the time to take the risk. So I quit. And I think I quit on like January 5th, the first day back after Christmas break. And I started writing The Opposite of Love. And I think 4 or 5 months later, I had a first draft. About 8 months later, I found an agent. And 9 or 10 months later, I sold the book in a 2-book deal. And then I was officially a writer. The amazing thing is that the first week I sat down to write, I discovered that's really what I wanted to do. It became apparent to me that this is really what I loved. And I was going to figure out how I was going to make sure I could do that, whether it meant, becoming a contract attorney to make money, to pay the bills, to be a writer on the side. But I fell madly in love with what I was doing. I was really passionate about it. And I've been a writer full time ever since.
That's great. And I remember you telling me that you actually did really do this full time. You were working, or you were writing 9 to 5.
Yep. And I think it really helped. I mean, it really helped that I quit my job and no one believed that I was actually working, that I was actually sitting down and writing the novel. So I felt immense pressure to really prove to people that I was writing. And also after working in a law firm, which is so demanding, it actually wasn't very difficult to sit down for 8 hours a day. Now, 5 years later, I've sort of been desensitized and I've lost my work ethic. But 5 years ago, it was awesome. Yeah, it was, and I had a lot of fun writing. I mean, The Opposite of Love is about a disaffected attorney. I mean, it's about a lot of other things as well, but I got to write out some of that angst about being a lawyer, which was fun for me.
And to the audience, I highly recommend you read these novels. They're great. So what for you is the best part about being a novelist?
Besides being able to wear my pajamas every day, it's the passion of what I do. I really, really, truly love what I do. When I was a lawyer, Sunday nights were a disaster because I used to literally cry thinking about having to start another week, Monday morning, doing something I hated. And it seemed really sad to me to waste my life, to go to work, to literally live for the weekends. It's, 2/7 of your life. I'm not good enough at math to figure out what that is, what percentage it is, but it's a pathetic percentage. Yeah. Now Sunday nights are kind of cool because I really look forward to Monday. I really enjoy sitting down and doing my work. I mean, sometimes it's hell because writing is sort of one of those really difficult processes that it doesn't always work. But when I'm excited about what I'm doing, it's just an amazing feeling. And I think once you find something you're passionate about, to imagine giving it up is, you can't give it up.
That's great. And what's the most challenging aspect of being a novelist?
I think as a lawyer, it was really easy to advocate on behalf of other people. But now I need to advocate on my own behalf. and publicize my book and sort of get my face out there and do all that PR stuff. And I find it very uncomfortable. So I have trouble with that part of it.
The marketing of your books?
Exactly, the marketing element. You're supposed to sit in a room for 10 months out of the year by yourself writing. And then 2 months out of the year, you're supposed to be able to go on the tour and, give talks. And I actually really enjoy that part of it. But I don't really enjoy seeking out the opportunities. It's selling yourself. I'm selling a product, and that part makes me shy, to be honest. I'm just a little shy when it comes to promoting myself.
Yeah.
If I was doing it on someone else's behalf, it wouldn't be hard at all. But when you're doing it on your own, it makes it it's a different thing. I think the other issue is stability. When you're a lawyer, you have a steady paycheck, and there's a lockstep promotion process. And as a writer, it's very different. You go from project to project, and you're only as good as your last book, and it's a little bit more stressful in that way.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for any lawyers who are interested in writing novels?
I think sit down and write. I mean, I didn't write anything until I quit my job to become a lawyer. I did it too, to become a novelist.
I started something. I'm sorry.
I hadn't written anything. Maybe, term papers in college and, briefs as a lawyer, but nothing creatively. And I wish I had. I really would have liked those years of experience. And I think that I was no better a writer the day before I got published than I was the day after. And I think that's really important to remember. So I think the first thing is to self-identify as a writer and sit your ass in the chair and write. And whether you can only do it an hour a day or even an hour a week, you just need to start writing. I can't tell you how many people tell me they have a novel in them, but they don't actually write at all. And I understand it because I did it for years. But I think the key is writing. It sounds so stupid and basic, but it's true. It's really true. You're not a novelist until you write a novel.
Right.
And anyone can do it.
How did you find the courage? Because you hadn't been writing before, and what made you actually make that leap and think, I can do this. I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to write a book. I'm write a novel, even if I've never written anything before.
I think there were two parts to it. One was I was really miserable. And I needed to change, and I needed to do something. And I've always said if I knew what I wanted to do, I would do it, no matter the cost. And it finally occurred to me what it was I really wanted to do. And the only reason why I wouldn't do it is fear. And that seemed a stupid reason not to do it. The other thing that helped is I told myself if I wrote this book and it lived in a drawer for the rest of my life, and I didn't get published, those 6 months, a year, whatever it is, time I took off to do it was worth it anyway for the experience and having tried it.
Yeah.
And that made it easier every day. So it wasn't about getting published. That was my dream. But every day when I sat down, I was about the process of, going to work and enjoying what I was doing and really being passionate about it. And it was almost like a vacation, being able to do something I loved. Yeah. And so I figured it was never going to be time wasted, even if it was money lost or, opportunity lost in terms of career advancement as a lawyer.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much, Julie. This was awesome.
My pleasure.
Why don't you share, what is your website for our viewers?
My website is www.juliebuxbaum.com, which is JulieBuxbaum.com.
Okay. Check it out and read all her books. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lawyer Turned. If you have any questions about Equilawbrium career and life coaching, or if you'd like support in your own career transition, then go to www.equilawbrium.com. Information is below. You can also pick up a free copy of the report, 5 Steps to Take to Successfully Transition into a New Career. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.